Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Beatsmith music. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the Fair NFL channel.
Hey, what's good with y'all, man? Hey, man, I appreciate everybody pulling up, man. I see y'all in the chat, man. Hey, man, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to anybody who celebrate. I don't think it's, I mean, we got some people from overseas. I mean, they probably celebrating their New Year's before us, but if you are, hey, Happy New Year to everybody. You know what I mean? We're not gonna see each other, so I might as well say it now. But yeah, man, hey, man, a lot to talk about today, man. Like, man, it's been a crazy week. Obviously, the big news with Carr pretty much being benched and pretty much gone from being the Raiders starter. Also, another thing, I want to talk about a lot of different things, man. And I got Ray backstage, but before I bring him on, let me just, I gotta address the chat, the tune. What's going on with y'all? Man, oh my God, man, we got some legends in the chat right now. Oh my God, we got some people in the chat. Hold on, let me bring him up. Come on, Sean Schefter Johnson. I know there's no Schefter in between his name, but we call him Sean Schefter Johnson because this dude always has all types of Raider news. He says, salute, so much happening this week. Wow, so much to discuss. A lot of things going to happen moving forward. Raider Nation for life. Let's better hope for a great 20. Hey, I couldn't say any better than that, man. Appreciate you coming through. Sean Van City in the building. He says, what's good, Pharaoh? Ray, hope you guys are doing well. Hey, likewise, man, we're doing great. And I hope you have a good New Year as well. ONT6 in the building. Hello from the other side. Hey, man. Appreciate you coming through, ONT6, man. He's been supporting since day one, man. He supports like almost all the Raider content creators, man. He's a good dude, man. It's as we go on, we remember all the times we had to. Hey, yeah, facts. Jerome in the building. He says, "What's good, Fer? I appreciate you coming through. Happy New Year's." Hey, likewise, man. Appreciate you coming through. We got Digital Prez in the building. If you haven't subscribed on IG or his YouTube, I know Digital Prez on YouTube. And his Raider Resistance on IG, one of the best IGs out there for Raider news, rumors, anything Raider related. So make sure to check them out. Raiders Junkie Cisco, Happy New Year's, Raider Nation. Hey, likewise, man. Hey, man. Hey. I feel like we're gonna have a great show today, man. And I'm not gonna have my co-host waiting any longer, man. I know he gets mad when I have him waiting over there, man. But what's going on, Ray, man? How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Nation? What's going on, Farrah? How you doing, bro?
Hey, man. I want to talk about what's going on with the Raiders, bro. Like, I understand Derek Carr was benched. I know he's gone. I mean, he didn't do himself any favors by not having a great season. He to me, by his standards, by our standards, and what we know what a good quarterback looks like, Carr wasn't it. I mean, he leads. I think he's tied for league in interceptions.
Yep.
Is he? I know he's tied with the quarterback in Dallas, possibly Dak Prescott. But either way, he's up there with interceptions. He's been inaccurate all season, and at the end of the day, the Raiders had to make a decision because if he was going to get hurt these next couple games, that the next year's salary would have been guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, do you agree with the move? Do you agree? Because it's not just benching Carr; it's we're moving on from Carr.
Right. You kind of know the temperature in the room with me a little bit when it comes to the situation with Derek Carr. I think personally, I've seen it throughout the course of this year.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's time to move on. I just think the way that we went about it as an organization, specifically with Mark Davis, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the way the situation was handled, it could have gone a little bit better, to be honest with you. Now, do I agree with the benching? Do I agree with moving on at the quarterback position? A part of me says, yeah, 100% I do. And it kind of leads me into why I'm excited about tomorrow's game, because obviously Jarrett Stidham is going to get the start. And me, I'm just curious to see where Derek Carr's progression was, because if you think about the past Raider quarterbacks that we've had on the rosters, they've been far below average. Then we get a quarterback of the caliber of Derek Carr, and we tend to put him on this pedestal of up in the upper echelon quarterbacks of the league. It's just because our fan base, we desperately want that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're having Jarrett Stidham put into the offense, somebody who's been in Josh McDaniel's scheme and system, I'm just kind of curious to see historically a career backup in Jarrett Stidham who knows and understands the system. I'm just curious to see how he moves the ball. And if a backup who's been in this system for a while can move the ball effectively, and maybe the Raiders kind of keep these games close and show that they can compete, I just think it shows that Derek Carr might be in that average tier, because I do think that his game has regressed this season.
No, he hasn't played well this season. But I think the thing is with it's kind of a messed up situation, because at the end of the day, Derek Carr, he agreed to this contract,
right?
And when John Gruden left, when Rick Bisaccia wasn't coming back, when Greg Olsen obviously eventually went to the Rams, and Josh McDaniels became the new offensive coordinator. I mean, not offensive coordinator, but I was pretty much the head coach for the Raiders. He had to start over. He had to learn a brand new offense. But he was on a short leash. So if he didn't get it done this season, he was going to be gone. And it's weird, because at the end of the day, like we talk about it, but to see it happen, like right before our eyes, it's another thing. But hey, at the end, like I said, he didn't play well. Derek Carr got to take that he got to take that on the chin. Like, he didn't play well. He knew what he signed up for. He's playing with his boy, his best friend. It didn't work out. And hey, at the end of the day, man, I don't feel bad for Derek Carr. He makes millions and millions of dollars. His family's set for life. He's gonna go play well somewhere else. He's gonna go to a good situation. Hopefully, the Raiders get to trade him. Maybe hopefully we get some first round picks back. I'm hearing a lot from both sides. I'm hearing that most likely it's not going to happen between now and and I think February 15th. That's the deadline. I guess it doesn't give a lot of teams. I think teams are probably going to wait until he hits free agency, because they know the Raiders are going to cut him. Because they know the Raiders are going to cut him. Why give up something where you know that you can get him? You can sign him to a contract without even giving up a first round pick.
And you could almost say that benching him hurt that draft stock, because what you just alluded to is if teams get the sense that they're just going to release him outright, if nobody sends a trade offer, unless a team is desperate enough and really has Derek Carr circled on their big board, like, hey, we have to go get Derek Carr. Let's not risk him getting to free agency, and then let's give the Raiders an offer. I could see that happening. Now, what is that value going to be? Is it going to be a second round pick? Is it going to be a first round pick? Look, I'm under the impression, I do believe that you can get a first-round pick out of Derek Carr, just given where the market is going for the quarterback position, specifically when it comes to trading.
Yeah,
I think you can get a first-round pick out of Derek Carr.
Yeah, I mean, if they have that ability to trade, if they can, and when I say they have that ability to trade, meaning if are they going to get offers? Are teams going to wait?
I think they will. I think they will.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to wait until he gets cut? Because the Raiders are going to cut him. Like, he's going to get cut, or he's going to get traded. It just really depends on how desperate the team gets. I mean, maybe
before it gets to just outright cutting him in free agency, even if the offer get as low as a third rounder, which is kind of bizarre to me, I don't see it getting to that point. I think the Raiders pull the trigger on even the lowest offer before they just outright cut him.
Before they outright cut him, we'll see, man. It's that. We're going to have this conversation plenty of times between now and February 15th. But let's get back to the game tomorrow. Hey, it's the Raiders versus 49ers. It's Battle of the Bay. If you don't know, now you'll know. The Raiders and 49ers, that's more of a fan rivalry. It's not really a team rivalry. It's a fan rivalry. I think at the end of the day, like, we're still going to be excited to watch the Raiders play. I think it's our team. And like you said, if Stidham plays well, you never know. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and I think everybody can agree with me. Our expectations are going to be extremely low. So
that's good for Jarrett Stidham, though.
Oh, that's great for if he completes the pass. Everybody's going to be like, "Oh my God, he's the next coming of whoever." You know what I mean? Kenny the Snake Stabler. You know what I mean? Who knows? But
No, I'm honestly I'm just intrigued to see what another quarterback in the system looks like, and if somebody can move this offense down the field and convert in the red zone,
mhm.
I just think it's going to give us a big picture of who a big part of the issues were. Let's see how good of a coach Josh McDaniel is now, because now he doesn't have a quarterback like Derek Carr. So now this is where your scheme is really going to shine. This is where your play calling abilities is really going to be put on display. So the last 2 weeks, I'm really curious to see how Josh McDaniels coaches a game, specifically with Jarrett Stidham. And I'm just curious to see with a subpar quarterback if this offense can still move, and just kind of give me a gauge on where Derek Carr really is as a quarterback. Because like I alluded to earlier, I feel like we do definitely lift Derek Carr on a podium, maybe a little bit higher than what his skill set actually is.
Right.
And I'm kind of curious to see what another guy can do in the system.
No, facts. But, I have a funny feeling. I feel like, I could be wrong. But I just feel like, hey, you know what? McDaniel's probably going to be out there proving a point. Like, hey, this is how the offense is supposed to be run. And, hey, to be fair, though, like, Stidham has played in this offense since his Patriots days. So, like,
yeah, I
this
mean,
is not a new offense. He's ready to go. He's prepared. Now,
yeah,
does
you
he have
can definitely
any?
make the argument he knows this offense far better than what Derek Carr knew it. It's just, does he have the talent and the abilities? That's what I'm excited to watch.
Well, it's going to help that, Devontae Adams is on one side. Then you have Darren Waller,
Right.
who only played, 20-something snaps last game. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, what
Yeah.
was that about? Like, 20-something snaps? I mean,
Yeah.
he could have took some snaps away from Moreau. I'll tell you that, man. The guy is a
And if we haven't settled that discussion yet, look, Foster Moreau is not Darren Waller's replacement. He is not better than Darren Waller.
man.
That spot is Darren Waller's job, and let's just end it at that.
Until they draft, they might have to go into the draft. They might, man. The Raiders
Until Rob Gronkowski's a member of the Raiders.
Man, you funny.
And that number 87 is going to be taken.
That one. Hey, I mean, if Brady's going to come to the Raiders, I mean, I could see Gronkowski just.
So Gronk, Darren Waller, Tom Brady, Devontae, Hunter.
I could see it happen. I mean, as a fan, just a true fan of the Raiders, I just hate that Tom Brady would be the quarterback for the Raiders, but it seems like a real possible thing. I think that at this point, like Dave Z and McDaniels have to figure out the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
And what sucks is that you have so many different holes on this roster.
Yep.
Let's be honest.
Yep.
O-line, we need to upgrade. We need to add some talent to that O-line, that D-line, that secondary. You even brought up, I remember in the past, you said, hey, that number 2 spot ain't really that good either. I mean, but if you have Waller, Renfro, and Adams, then a guy like Hollins can get by. But if you're going to get rid of Waller, possibly, you never know. But in my opinion, do you think we should get rid of now that Carr is gone? You feel like keep him, right?
Keep all your weapons,
right?
Especially if you're going to go the young route, because you're plugging in a rookie into a system that would have a ton of talent. So, and then those guys are going to be in the second year of the system. So, it just kind of accelerates that process a little bit. But I don't know. What direction do you see? Because to me personally, I would like to kind of go the younger route. I would like to get a rookie contract in there at the quarterback position. Let him play in there as a rookie. I mean, Raider Nation, we're 6-9 right now. So what, a rookie goes out there and loses at most, he's a 4-13 team, 4-14, like, and you lose 2 more games of what you lost this season. I don't see us, even if the rookie comes out and has a struggling rookie year in his development, I'm kind of okay with that. I'm just ready for that fresh start, that rejuvenation in the organization, that, hey, this is the young guy that we're going to rally behind. This is why we took him. And hopefully just to see his skill sets flash on the field under Josh McDaniels, if it is Anthony Richardson, maybe see electrifying plays made with his legs and the ability to push the ball down the field deep. If you go CJ Stroud, just see a guy come in, pro ready, manage an offense, maybe learn how to get through checkdowns and read defenses. Like, there's a lot of things to be excited for now that DC has moved on. But when I say that, I mean no disrespect to Derek Carr. I'm grateful for the memories, the moments, the service, the dedication. He always represented the silver and black with pride. He really resembled what it means to be a Raider, and he will for always be that for me. But at this time where we are as an organization, I think it's time to go in a new direction, and I'm excited for the entire process.
Going back to Derek Carr. See, the thing with Derek Carr, and I said this before, the problem with Derek Carr is the fact that he's a solid to good QB, and everybody, the Raider Nation, everybody has the expectation of a great QB for him, and he's not a great QB. So my thing is now the Raiders need a great QB. They need a great QB. They can't still settle for anything less. And I'm not saying that that's not. Obviously, the end goal is to get a great QB, but I'm just saying that just to piggyback off and salute to OG, he said, "State of the nation is dysfunction." Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. And we're gonna get into that too. But that was one of the things with Derek Carr. He couldn't overcome the Raiders. He couldn't overcome the Raiders' dysfunction. He couldn't overcome the missed draft picks, the missed free agents, the countless coaches, everything that we know what's wrong with the Raiders, like all the issues that he couldn't overcome it. He's not good enough. He's just a solid good QB. Now a great QB, maybe, whoever that is, and hopefully it's in the draft. I'm not sure if it is. Everybody's talking about that 2024 draft being the QB draft, but you never know. Hey, you never know. There might be a guy, especially if the coaching staff like McDaniels, and don't let me get started on McDaniels, but especially if they find their guy, whoever that is. In my opinion, I hope it's a big, strong, athletic quarterback. Let's get our version.
Right. No, you know what's unfortunate for Derek Carr is that we've put that precedent on him. We almost. You said that he wasn't able to overcome the Raiders, and what a situation that would be to actually have to do that, right? Especially with the dysfunction that the organization is. You're talking about multiple head coaches, 9 to 10 offensive coordinators outside of 2016, and then this season, your skill position players historically, where your defense is ranked over the years. Like, this wasn't just a small mountain to overcome. I mean, this was, you alluded to, you have to be a great quarterback. And I would even question, I don't know how many of the great quarterbacks could have overcame the circumstances and the scenarios that Derek Carr was put in, which is why I think it's the best opportunity for him just to move on, move forward. I've said it in this entire season that if Derek Carr was to ever win a championship, and I say if he was ever to win a championship, I don't think it's going to be with the Raiders. I think it's going to be in a right situation on a different team with a fresh start. He's just gone through too much dysfunction with this organization, and you can see it affect his on-field play a little bit. And I think it's better for him to get a fresh start.
And just so we can be clear, because a lot of people will be like, well, we're not saying that Derek Carr did, like, at the end of the day, Derek Carr did not have a good season. At the end of the day, he did not have a good season, and that was pretty much what. If he played better, he probably would have been the Raiders quarterback. And you can make an argument like, well, if McDaniels is getting another year, why is Derek Carr not getting another year? I think at this point, with recent reports about how Mark Davis was actually the guy to make the final call and say that, Derek Carr needed to be benched. He probably didn't want to pay that $40 million next year. But that's on him. But going back to OG when he said there's dysfunction, and Big Worm, I see you said Josh McDaniels isn't head coach. Man, I have my doubts about him as well. But going back to Mark Davis, let's get into Mark Davis real quick. You know what I mean? Let's get into it. We get into everything, right? And by the way, hey, I just want to make an announcement. We have a call-in number, y'all. So if y'all really have some thoughts, hey, we keep forgetting to put this up. But the number is 628-333-9343. If you have anything that you want to say, make any comments, call in. Just make sure you keep it clean. We on YouTube. YouTube doesn't like when you do all that extra stuff. So, but hey, we want to give people a voice. We want to hear your thoughts. So make sure to call the number. You can see it go down on the ticker on the bottom. You can see it 628-333. I have the number right here too as well. But let's talk about Mark Davis, man.
All right, let's do it. Everybody get your popcorn.
Okay, I think we got our first call.
Well, that was quick.
But I don't know. It says pets welcome. All right, man. All right, be prepared, y'all. This might be a prank call. This might be a prank call. Hold on. Okay. Hello.
Call from
Pets welcome extended stay.
You hear that?
to accept. Press
Yeah.
All right, okay. It was just a prank call. I have it connected, all y'all. So, like I said, hey, I'm being real with y'all, man. It's the number is 628, like you see it on the ticker on the bottom, 628-333-9343. But we're gonna get into it, man. Mark Davis. So this whole week, everybody's been talking about Derek Carr. He's been cut. He's finally gone. You know, a lot of Heart of Raider Nation celebrating. It's a lot of other Raider Nation fans, like Raider fans, are kind of like, you know, they're sad to see him go, you know, and then, you know, people are kind of talking about McDaniels this, McDaniels that. Some people might be talking about Dave Z and some of the moves that he made haven't panned out. But the one guy, and I think lately, I think people are kind of catching on. The one guy, Mark Davis, man, like I'm reading a lot about Mark Davis. I'm hearing a lot about Mark Davis and what he's doing back there. And if it's true, this is not a good sign for the Raiders, in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, the fact that he made the final call to bench Derek Carr, and it wasn't just benching Derek Carr, it was the fact that, you know, this is reported when he was interviewing Dave Z and Josh McDaniels, he actually didn't want him to, no, not that he didn't, but his thing was, he didn't really believe in Derek Carr. Like he made it known in that interview process. A lot of the Raider officials were talking down about Derek Carr during the interview, and to the point where McDaniels and Dave Z wanted to keep Derek Carr. That's the only reason why Derek Carr is because they are the reason why Derek Carr is the Raider, is because they came in and were like, you know what, we're not going to get rid of him. Because I think probably McDaniels thought about what he did in Denver when he got rid of Jay Cutler. But that's neither here or there. But my point is that I'm like, hold up. So you're telling me Mark Davis, you didn't really like Derek Carr. You don't believe in Derek Carr. So why is he still the Raiders QB?
Because where are you going to go from there? You know, that's the question. I mean, I think Mark is afraid to make that kind of move without having an answer. And I think Mark Davis has his answer, and I think he had his answer in 2020. I think Mark's been willing to move on from Derek for a few seasons now. And obviously, I don't think he could move on from Derek after the heartbreak season of losing John Gruden and Henry Ruggs, and then that team rallying to go to the playoffs. Then he makes that hire. Josh McDaniels is obviously his first year as a head coach. Is going to keep that veteran quarterback. You know, the free agent market of quarterbacks. Obviously, there was nobody out there that he was willing to go out there and make a move for. To me personally, Pharaoh, I think Tom Brady has been Mark Davis's guy. Tom Brady has been hosted to multiple Las Vegas Aces games. He's been gifted autographed jerseys to Kelsey Plum, Darren Waller's girlfriend. Dana White, Mark Davis, Tom Brady have had sit-down meetings behind closed doors in Las Vegas. And they had a complete deal worked out and done. And at last second, John Gruden went in and pulled the plug on the Tom Brady to Vegas ordeal in 2020. So right now, Mark Davis is in a situation with moving to Las Vegas that Mark has to sell tickets. Mark has got to make money. And I think that he believes a quarterback like Tom Brady is a jersey seller. A guy like Devontae Adams, yes, you bring him in to win football games 100%. However, this is also a business in the same breath. So you go out and ironically, I would say it's ironic that Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, all these guys from the Patriots organization, the same staff that took Tom Brady, or Tom Brady took this staff to multiple championships. I think that was the plan. You know, since benching Carr and moving forward, I just think the Raider Nation needs to be prepared for the possibility that Tom Brady is going to be a Raider.
I think it makes sense though, because at the end of the day, like, we've seen this offense with a quarterback that really didn't. Obviously, he didn't play well, but I'm not sure if he had 100% grasp of the offense as well.
Right.
Along with the players on the football field. So if the Raiders are looking to win, the only candidates for the job would be guys that played in that system, and that's guys that's a Tom Brady, that's a Jimmy G, that's who else? Or am I missing? Maybe Jacoby Brissett out there.
If they traded for a Mac Jones, I don't know.
Traded for a Mac Jones, you know, because he's not really playing well with the Patriots. They might want to get rid of him, you know, cut their losses, because he played well with Josh McDaniels, and I know Josh McDaniels is a big fan of Mac Jones. You know, obviously he's the guy that he probably rooted for to get drafted. So it's a possibility as well. But either way, my thing is the Raiders have to draft a QB. I don't care who the veteran they bring in. It's going to be someone that we probably don't like that much. But the Raiders have to draft a QB, and I'm thinking like within the first 2 rounds.
You think it's going to be that high?
I hope.
Okay.
I hope.
Okay.
Because
it's going to be tough at that if we do land at that 6th spot, because I mean we're either going to be anywhere from 6 to 9, or if we even go and win these last 2 games, which I don't know if it's in the Raiders' interest to do that, but if the Raiders do go out here and win these last 2 games, then you're talking about maybe 10th or 11th pick. So it might be a little bit hard. You know, you might have to take some of those picks and move up, or you might have to take a chance on a guy later in the first round or the top of the second, because I don't know. I don't know how deep the talent goes, and I don't think we will know until a couple of years into the future. But the Raiders, I do believe I agree with you. I think the Raiders do need to go young at the quarterback position.
Raid, I do see you in the building. If you want to come through, I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna send it to you on IG. And someone is calling. Do you hear that? You hear that ring?
I hear it.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let's see who this is.
Call from
Raphael Chastain.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
I don't know who that is. All right, man. But that being said, D Menace got a public service announcement. He says, don't forget to sub to Raider Ray. Make sure, make sure if you haven't subscribed to Raider Ray, make sure you go ahead and go to his channel, like you see on the screen. It's simple, Raider Ray. And yeah, man, we do a weekly show every week. I mean, the season's almost over, but so we're gonna have to reevaluate that schedule. But that being said, for now, it's a weekly show. We go live on each other's channel. Today it's on my channel. So if you haven't subscribed to Raider Ray channel, make sure you do that. And also make sure you hit that like button, please. Appreciate it, man. The algorithm is very real. So like, I don't know how to explain this to you. Like, if you guys don't like the video, then we won't be able to keep coming back with this content. But if you keep liking the video, and if you haven't subscribed and you're subscribed, then we can keep coming back, and we're going to keep making improvements. We've grown so much in just a year, or less than a year actually. So we want to keep coming back. So we appreciate your support. But yeah, man, let's get back to it, man. Let me get into the chat, man, because the chat is going crazy right now.
I think that was Raphael that called.
Oh, Raphael, did you call?
I think that was him.
Oh, okay. That was you? You sure? It says something different. But hey, call back again, man. Hold on 1 second. I gotta send this to Raid real quick. If you have some time, Raid, come through, man. I see you in the chat, man. It's been a minute since we chopped it up. But let me get into the chat. In the meantime, let's see. Gordon and Sam Hines says, yes, sir. There's a lot of excitement in the air. Let's go Raiders. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a change. Hopefully for the best. I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's for the best, man. Anthony Estrada. Okay. All right. Yo, what's up? What's going on?
Raphael Chastain.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
All right. Y'all heard that too. That's funny.
Go ahead and press 1 there, Pharaoh.
Hello. What's going on?
Hello there.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hold on, Raph.
Introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, I'm very good. So, in my point to this game against San Francisco Niners, it's not gonna be easy because we have to rebuild the defense, and of course the offense will be offline. So it's not gonna be easy. And what happens to Derek Carr bench goes to Jared Stidham for the last 2 games? I don't know. It sounds like everything is gonna be changes. But at the first time that we just saw between Josh McDaniels being the head coach, I was like, but I was kind of a little shocked because the coach is like a little, they have to understood about the playbook. They need to understood about the leadership. They had like attitude. They had an adjustment attitude to win the games. So what happened? We had 4 games that we blow up, and it's not going to work it a lot better. So I think that season, the next season, we'll build a lot better. We have to rebuild a lot of defense, the offline, and of course the Red Sun, which is the scary most about it because I'm worried about the Red Sun and how could I figure it out. So I just wanted to tell to everybody else, this audience. So right now, Carl and Raider Ray, much love and support for El Capitan Rafael. I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everybody else. And I gotta go right now because I'm going to celebrate with my family.
All right, that's what's up, man.
Advocate person, Rafael Tessin, has much love and respect to the Raider Nation. So,
Hey, man. Hey, I appreciate that. Hey, Rafael, I appreciate it. Hey, and I appreciate you being the first caller. You're the first caller of the show, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you calling in. Happy New Year to you. Any last thoughts, man? Before I let you go?
Any last words?
Yeah, before I let you go.
Just like Old David said, just win, baby.
Hey,
Love
just
it.
win, baby. I gotta put that.
Just win, baby.
Hey,
There you
man.
go.
It's kind of sad that we got to do that, especially when it's at the end of the season. But you know what? You know what's funny? Mathematically speaking, the Raiders are still in it.
Oh, don't do it, Pharaoh. Don't pull out that mathematical.
Hey,
No.
Hey, I'm just saying. You know, it's still possible. It's still possible. It's in Jared Stidham's hands. You know what I mean? It's in his hands for him to take over, hopefully against the number 1 defense in the league, man. But the chat is going wild right now. LB Max in the building. I appreciate you coming through. He says McDaniels equals mediocrity. Hey, man, he's gonna be back here whether we like it or not. He's gonna be back here next year.
I'm telling the nation to really focus in on his ability to play calls with a guy like Jarrett Stidham. We're gonna really find out the type of play caller, you know, and especially a guy who understands the system. Maybe Derek Carr wasn't seeing things quite on the same page as Josh McDaniels, and you can make the argument that Jarrett is going to see things a lot more similar to how Josh McDaniels wants this offense ran. And he doesn't. You got to think about it this way: Derek Carr has so many offensive coordinators, so many philosophies, so many schemes, and different situations ingrained into his mind and ingrained into his game. Jarrett Stidham has only had one voice, and that's been Josh McDaniels. So he sees it the Josh McDaniels way. So that's just going to be very, very interesting to look out for tomorrow. And look, he's a young guy who's confident. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought the locker room was going to have a much worse vibe this week. These guys look like they're rallying around Jarrett. They look like they're really excited for Jarrett to get an opportunity. And let's see what a young, confident quarterback in this system who's not afraid to take chances, who's not afraid to create plays with his feet. I'm actually really excited for this San Francisco 49er game.
Raider Tape says Mark Davis brought in Carr, and we're mad at him for that. No, I'm not mad at Mark Davis for bringing in Carr. At the end of the day, like McKenzie was the guy that drafted. I mean, I'm sure Mark Davis knew that he was going to get drafted if he was in that room. But what I'm saying is at the end of the day, if we're looking at Derek Carr, right, and how he's been here for 10 years, man, like it's not working. Well, and I can agree with that. I can agree that on some level. Like, yeah, hey, at this point, like, hey, I understand. I get it. Why can't we look at Mark Davis? Why can't we look at Mark Davis? He's been the owner. If you want to be really honest about Mark Davis, he inherited the team. This is not Al Davis. And I'm gonna drop a video, man. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna drop a video. I'm gonna talk about Mark Davis and like the early Mark Davis, especially how Al Davis really looked at Mark Davis and how much respect he really had for him. It's not good. It's not good at all.
Not good.
But
and I thought it's funny because we both I had messaged Pharaoh and I'm like, hey man, I've got this Mark Davis video that I want to drop, and and I think it's really going to stir up the nation. I don't think that they're going to really agree with it. And boom, right away, Pharaoh shoots me a call. He's like, "Man, you are so funny," because I'm making a Mark Davis video right now too. And
Yeah,
it's
great
like,
minds think alike. Great minds think alike, man. But and I'm just being honest, because like we can all look at each other, like we've been rooting for, like everybody I'm sure in the chat has been rooting for the Raiders for a long time. And then at the end of the day, like I guess when Carr, got benched, it kind of signaled a big change in the organization, because the quarterback position is pretty big. It's a hard position to replace. But then you start thinking about, like, man, the Raiders have been bad for a long time. And then you have to look at the people who are making the final decisions, big decisions, and that's a guy like Mark Davis. And whether you like it or not, how many coaches have gone through here? How many he's hiring these guys, and then we're hearing rumors that he didn't really like Carr like that for a while now. Like, what? If you didn't like him, then why didn't you trade him years ago? Even Carr joked about it, because Carr hears the noise too. Even Derek Carr joked about it during the season. Well, I was supposed to be traded years ago.
Hey, that's how I knew that this was all real, and that's how I knew that this was probably the end of Derek Carr, because typically anytime these type of rumors come out or anything, he's so quick to go to social media and just start chirping back at people who are criticizing him or criticizing his game. He's gone silent. He's unfollowed Raiders from Twitter and Instagram and all those things. Like, he has completely removed himself from the organization, which tells me, like, obviously, like, yeah, this is done. And it didn't take him doing that to justify, like, yeah, this is it for Derek Carr. But I just think it was ironic that this is the route it was going. But to talk about Mark Davis, he's kind of like the villain that got to escape out of the back door. Let's just hypothetically speak and just say that Mark Davis made that decision to bench Derek Carr and to move on from him. And then you continue to let Derek Carr take the heat and Josh McDaniels to take the heat. And you as an owner can't take ownership in that decision and come forward and say, hey, this was not a Dave Ziegler, Josh McDaniels decision. This came from me as an owner of the football team. I thought it was in the best interest for the Raiders organization. If we move on from Derek Carr, we respect Derek. I mean, have a quarterback that has served 9 years for this dysfunctional organization and has been through trials and tribulations with the silver and black, at least host a small 10-minute press conference, come out and say, hey, I want to say thank you to the Carr family. I want to say thank you to Derek Carr. And all these situations, and to kind of acknowledge Derek Carr as that leader.
Yeah, go ahead. Hold it down.
No, yeah. And I think that if Mark Davis could just stand 10 toes down on his decision, if it was him that made that decision, instead, it looks like the head coach is taking all the fire and all the heat and all the criticism, and rightfully so. You're the head coach of a football team. That's kind of your job. But at the same time, if Mark did make that decision, Mark needs to come in, hold a 10-minute presser, address the nation, because they just moved on from a quarterback that's been our guy for the past decade. So come out, show the respect to Derek Carr, show the respect and put it on your shoulders as an owner that this was your decision and that you wanted to move on. And at least kind of give us a vision, right? Like, give us a vision of where you actually want to take this team. I don't like when Mark Davis goes into the shadows and hiding, which is why I alluded to that terminology of Mark Davis was the guy that got out the back door. He's like the villain that escaped through the back. So to be honest, you guys, I want our owner to kind of just come to the light a little bit and address some real questions that the Raider Nation has, the fan base has, and maybe what the goal is moving forward. So Raider Nation, if you could, let me know down in the chat, who do you guys think at the end of the day, whose decision was this? Was this a Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler decision? Was this solely on Mark Davis, you guys think? Who do you think had the final say to move on from Derek Carr? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let's see. Raid the Tape says, what regime do you hate that he got, though? And which did you want that he didn't get?
I'm back. My bad. But ONT6 says, Pharaoh, check your IG. Was not Mark Davis' decision to bench Carr or the head coach. I already know what you're going to be alluding to. So pretty much this is what happened. Vic Tafer used his educated opinion on the whole situation and said that Mark Davis made the final call. Now, Hundo Carpenter, when he was asked indirectly, he didn't, the person that asked him say, oh, Vic Tafer said this. he just asked, did Mark Davis make the final call on Derek Carr's benching? Hondo Carpenter said no. This was a Dave Z and Josh McDaniels. They wanted their guy, and they didn't believe in Derek Carr no more. Yada 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 yada. So that's two conflicting sources with two different Raider beat writers. That being said, in that same article of Vic Tafur, he also backed up what he said by saying that when they were interviewing for the head coaching job with Josh McDaniels and Dave Z, Raider officials, this is a source, Vic Tafur's source, he said Raider officials and Mark Davis did not hide the fact that they didn't really like Derek Carr like that. And the main reason why Derek Carr actually came back was because of Josh McDaniels and Dave Z. So take that for however you guys want to take that. So Vic Tafur pretty much was like, hey, at the end of the day, like, Mark Davis is not a big fan of him. So, of course, he doesn't want to pay $40 million. So he put 2 and 2 together. Hondo Carpenter, he sometimes comes with good facts, but at the end of the day, Hondo Carpenter and Vinny, in my opinion, they're on the Raiders payroll, y'all.
100%.
They're on the Raiders payroll, man. You know, they're going to talk about what's going on with the Raiders, but they're going to spin it the way the Raiders want to spin it. Why do you think they always get the scoops? Why do you think they have the scoops? Because the Raiders are going to give them some information, but at the same time, they want the Raiders, when I say the Raiders, the organization wants those beat writers to, you know, spin it in a way where it doesn't look bad on them. So that's just my opinion. You know, it is what it is. Y'all can take that. What do you think?
So your gut reaction, was this Mark or was it Josh McDaniels?
I think it was Mark.
You think Mark had the final
indirectly too, because think about it. If you're telling incoming head coaches and GMs that you don't like Derek Carr, and you know that McDaniels is not having a good year, who do you think? Remember what I said? Who's going to be the scapegoat? And I'm not saying that Derek Carr deserved to. He didn't have a good year, but what I'm saying is that, like, he's going to influence their decision making too. If you think about it, like, okay, Mark Davis isn't really like Derek Carr like that, so we might as well like point to him. Because
as an owner, could you make the argument that maybe the scapegoat is honestly Josh McDaniels too, a first-year head coach in this system coming in? And if Mark Davis is really having those meetings, let's just say this was all real. Mark Davis was having those meetings saying, hey, I'm not all in with DC. I don't really even like him that much. And that's the quarterback that this head coach is now rolling with through the year. And then you make that decision to move on from him. You don't address the media publicly. You don't come and hold a 10-minute press conference and say, hey, this was my decision as an owner to move on. This wasn't Josh McDaniels or Dave Ziegler. This was 100% on me. To me, that kind of says that you're putting all this heat. Your head coach is already getting scrutinized head to toe from the national media to the fan base. And you let your head coach and your general manager take the heat for a decision like this.
Hey, and also, my bad. When my camera went out, I know someone called. If you want to call back again, we'll put you on the line, man. My bad. When my camera went out, I had to make some adjustments, but I did see someone call. So if you want to call back and let us know your thoughts about the whole situation with the Raiders, where they're going to be moving forward, whatever you want to talk about, call back, man. You see the number right there, 628. I haven't memorized it by heart. I'm just going to be honest with you. 628-333, I believe. It's coming back around on the ticker. You see it. Call in number 628-333-9343. Man, if you guys have any thoughts, man, call in. We want to hear from y'all, man, at the end of the day, man. Hey, the season is almost over. Mathematically, the Raiders are still in it, but Jared Stidham, you know, he's gonna have to play well. He's probably gonna have the best game of his career for the Raiders to win tomorrow against the number one defense against the Niners. I hope we win against the Niners. I hate the Niners.
I do too.
Growing up, I hated the Niners, but I don't hate them more. I had this realization recently. I don't know if it was recent, but it was just like the team that I hate the most got to be the Chiefs.
100%.
It got to be the Chiefs. I hate the 49ers, but I don't hate them as much as the Chiefs.
No. There's something about even the way Patrick Mahomes walks, the way that he talks. It sickens me to my core. So yeah, the Chiefs for me, 100% number one. That's the team I look forward to playing and competing against. I don't even care if the DC's not in the game. I'm looking forward to that final game of the year.
Right. And we got 77 in the building, man. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and subscribe to my guy Raider Ray. We do a weekly show. We change pretty much weekly. Right now it's on my channel. Obviously, the next time I go live, it will be on Raider Ray's channel. So you want to make sure you subscribe to Raider Ray. You see it on the ticker right there, Raider Ray. Simple as that, Raider Ray. And make sure to subscribe and like the video too as well. Okay, we got a caller. We got a caller, man. All right, man. I already know who this is, man.
I'll be 6.
Call from.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Press 1.
Okay.
Send a voicemail.
What's going on, T6, man? You on live, man? What's going on?
Yeah, not much. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey,
Good. How are
man,
you doing, bro?
we're here to talk football, man. I know you're a big Raider fan. You got one of the biggest. Hey, I just want to let y'all know, like, OT6 has one of the biggest jersey collections out there, man. So I just want to let y'all know, man. But this dude, he's on the line right now, man. Hey, what's going on, bro? Like, what you got on your mind?
I don't know, man. I'm really torn because being a Raiders fan over the years, man, we just grown to hate Tom Brady and everything he stands for, especially after the Chuck roll. and now all fingers are pointing for him to being our next quarterback, and it's just crazy looking back at the Chuck roll and now. But
I know it's so ugly. It's just it doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense that, oh, you got a Patriots offensive coordinator that coached him up for years, and you got Dave Z who knows him for years, and yada yada yada. And Mark Davis is a huge fan because you heard him in the press conference when he talked about Tom Brady when he brought in Josh McDaniels. He called him the greatest coach of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could tell, like, and then we all know the rumors and all that. It's just like, but at the same time, come on, man. Like, it's gonna be so ugly to see Tom Brady. I don't care. The Raiders, we have the best jerseys in football. I don't care what anybody says. But to see Tom Brady in a Raiders jersey, that's going to be ugly. This is my opinion.
It is. No, it is.
Auntie 6, I got a question for you. Mark Davis, Josh McDaniels, who had the and it's good to talk to you, my friend. Who do you think had the final decision in moving on from Derek Carr? And if we were to move on from Derek Carr, what's your opinion and what's your direction that you'd want to go into? Obviously, we hear that you don't want Tom Brady, but what route would you go?
What's up, Ray? Thanks for having me on. My opinion, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, I really think it is Josh McDaniels, because, to be honest with you guys, I don't think Mark Davis knows football like his dad did. And for him to make a decision like that, it's going to change the future of this franchise, I don't think he wants that shit in his hands, to be honest with you. Because if you have to remember, too, this is the same Mark Davis that traded for fucking Carson Palmer during the middle of the season, you know what I mean? So him and his football moves over the years, I question. But if you really trust Josh McDaniels and said that he's his head coach of this team, then he's gonna go what he says. Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? If it's true what the Pharaoh said about these reports when they said when they came in here they weren't really in love with Carr, and it only took them 15 games to realize that he's not the right man for the job.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the Raiders shouldn't get rid of Derek Carr. What I'm saying is, why keep a quarterback that you don't like? It's almost like, and it's funny because I feel like a lot of Raider Nation, they think that Derek Carr has a gun to Mark Davis' head, like, if you cut me, if you trade me. Like, that's not the case. Mark Davis can be like, he could tell whoever is in charge, GM, coach, and say, hey, look, like, you know what, let's go in a different direction. But instead, he chose to be possibly, I don't know, maybe passive aggressive, who knows? But these are, Vic Tafur, he reported this. That was the big, to me, that was the biggest thing from that article, was the fact that he said during that interview process, when he said that Josh McDaniels and Dave Z had to be surprised that Raider officials, because, hey, man, this is why the owner needs to be on point. He said Raider officials too were talking bad about Derek Carr. So when the owner doesn't believe in Derek Carr, then if the leader, that's the leader of the organization or the owner, right? If he's talking bad about Derek Carr, then everybody else is gonna follow suit. And then, hey, you have to think that Derek Carr can hear these. He can hear them talking. You know what I mean? It's like going to work. You go to work and then you hear some rumors about people. Like, it's going to come out. You're going to hear it.
I personally think that Derek Carr would not have been a Raider 2 years ago had it not been for John Gruden in the building. Had we had any other regime head coach, Jack Del Rio, you go down the line, the Tony Sperano, everybody that was before John Gruden, had it not been John Gruden in that seat, you could make the argument that Tom Brady was going to be the quarterback of the 2020 Las Vegas Raiders. That deal was in place. So that tells you that the owner was working out deals behind the scenes above John Gruden. So he was making decisions above the head coaches. So what has changed in 2 years? You know what I mean? I could 100% see Mark Davis stepping in and saying, hey, look, I don't want Derek Carr leading this team. So, you know, I feel like Mark is that guy that stays quiet until he wants to step in. And I would say what little type of blood he has of his dad, it's when Mark Davis wants to get something, Mark Davis gets it. He has that one and only child syndrome, that spoiled child syndrome, never had to work anything. And if he wants it done, he's going to step in and he's going to get it done.
Hey, at the end of the day, he owns the team. He could do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
But my thing is, the greatest thing going for Mark Davis was just the fact that I thought that he was hiring people to do their job. So I was like, oh man, at least Mark Davis is trying. He's hiring people who know football, and he's gonna let them make the decision. But now that I'm hearing that he's talking like this, he's influencing guys. He's meeting with coaches after games. Let's not forget about that. You know what I mean? He's meeting with coaches after games with Josh McDaniels, and even going back to earlier reports this season, this is not the first time that he's met with the coaching staff after games. Now, he didn't do it with Gruden. But with Josh McDaniels and every other coaching staff, after every game, after every loss, or whatever the case may be, not every game, but every loss, like where he felt like he'll come down and he'll talk to the coaches. Why are you talking? I mean, it's your team, but come on, man. Like, I don't want that dysfunction no more, man. I thought that was in the past. Man. But O&T Stick, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here, but you got a good point, bro. But honestly, in my opinion, what I would do with this team, I do not want Brady here. The smartest thing, I think, for the Raiders team to do as an organization is fix the defense this offseason and worry about the quarterback position next offseason. Because the thing is, bringing a new quarterback in here is not going to solve all the other issues on defense that we have, guys. You know what I mean? Us bringing in a new quarterback is not going to get a coverage linebacker to cover Kelsey during the season. You know what I mean? We have holes to fill on this defense. You know what I mean? That's why I rather prefer the smartest thing to do. You know what I mean? Not that a lot of people want to fucking hear this or not, but just to bring Derek Carr back for another year. You know what I mean? Fix the defense and then get rid of Derek Carr next season. You know what I mean? To be honest, I would not like quarterback in this draft class, to be honest with you guys. And you know what I mean? Because I want a generational talent, you know what I mean, that's one from the last time quarterback possibly, like Trevor Lawrence, like Andrew Luck. And none of these quarterbacks coming out say that to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm just being completely honest with you guys. You know what I mean? The only quarterback to see the Raiders draft that I wouldn't mind would be Caleb Williams of USC. You know what I mean? He's not coming out till next year, and he's probably going to go number 1 overall.
Good point.
I'm hoping that Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels have the plan to bring somebody in here. At the end of the day, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting for everyone, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, man. Any last thoughts, man, before I let you go?
I mean, just win, baby. Fuck the Niners. And at the end of the day, my bad. I mean, my bad for customer, but you know what I mean? I just hate that Niners no matter what, man. I don't care if you have like third stringers out there against the first strings, just win, baby.
Hey, that's what's up, man. I'll do this just for you, bro. Hey, appreciate you calling in, man.
Just win, baby. My bad, right?
All right. It's all good.
You're good, bro.
All right, man. Have a good one, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey. That's my guy, ONT6, man. I appreciate you calling in. Second caller calling in, man. I appreciate you calling in, brother. But, hey, man, look, I'm just pointing out things where, like, hey, I'm a fan of the team, too. But it's been so long. Why are the Raiders not good? It's more than not just having the quarterback. Like, why is this team not stacked with talent?
Well, I mean, I think next year you have an opportunity to really take a big step in the right direction on the defensive side of the football, to be honest with you. I did see somebody in the comments say that Waller jerseys, Josh Jacobs jerseys, and Derek Carr jerseys are all 50% off right now. Now I don't know why Darren Waller. I don't know. Hey, you got to follow the money a little bit. Stop the
No.
cap.
Now, for real, they're 50% off.
Yeah, that's what I seen.
Woo. You know, man, that's crazy. That's
Could
crazy,
you imagine
man.
what you could get in return if you were able to trade those players? Like, if this is going to be that rebuild, this is an opportunity to go get quite a bit of capital between DC and Darren Waller alone, to be honest with you.
Damn, a rebuild? Wow.
You're going to have to be honest with ourselves.
A rebuild, man.
And who's to say, like, if that's the case, Devontae Adams is probably going to want out. Look, you might have to blow this thing up. Thankfully, they have some key foundational players like Chandler Jones is locked in on the defensive side. Max Crosby's locked in on the defensive side. You know, you've got some young up-and-coming players that you've signed. Yeah, obviously Nate Hobbs. You've got a few pieces in place there to kind of play with defensively, and then to kind of throw talent at it, and then insert a rookie. But hey, Raider Nation, we honestly might be staring a rebuild in the face. And if you want a player like Caleb Williams, then you definitely have to blow this roster up, because you're going to have to land that number 1 overall pick.
Hey, Rap, I'm about to make you a mod right now. Definitely. Hold on 1 second. Let me make you a mod. Hold on 1 second. You frozen? Oh, no, you're not frozen.
Nope.
Hold on 1 second.
Raid says, which regime did we want that we didn't get since Mark has taken over?
Which regime that we wanted? Or what do you? I'm trying to understand that question.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Raid, if that's to us, let us know if that's to us or if it's somebody in the chat.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to find Raphael. Hey, Raph, if you can make a comment real quick. I'm trying to find it because, like, man, the chat is going crazy. I appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. The road to 3K continues. And as always, man, if you haven't subscribed to Raider Ray, make sure to go ahead and search for Raider Ray. And if my mods actually can post the links as well. Let me see. Raf. Oh my God.
And I know Raider Nation hates to say, I know we hate to hear the Tom Brady talk, but I believe, like, if you bring in a rookie into this offense, I don't see a lot of these skill position players wanting to stay.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So if you go and get a Tom Brady, I feel like the Devontae Adams, the Darren Wallers, all those types of players are going to be more willing to stay on the offensive side of the football, because they know that, hey, we're going to go out here and we're going to try to win games immediately. So I know everybody hates to say it, but who's to say, you know, Raider Nation, we could be funny sometimes. You know, the first time that Tom Brady connects with Devontae Adams in a red zone for a game winner and we're celebrating, I guarantee you everybody's going to be celebrating the fact that we're winning football games. So to me personally, I don't think the Raiders are in position to be picky. I mean, what have we done? What have we done in the past decade? What have we done in the past, 20 years? I want to win games more than anything, as much as I absolutely can't stand Tom Brady. If getting Tom Brady into this offense with the Josh McDaniels and the Devontae and Waller and Renfro and Josh potentially, if that's what it takes to get us to Super Bowl, like, why are you going to argue it?
Mm-hmm. Brave Raider has a question. He says, Pharaoh and Raider Ray, do you think Carr agreed to the separation because he cares about the team and he's mentally drained, and one rumor Carr is thinking about retirement? To be honest with you, I think it was probably one of those deals where it was just kind of like a mutual, like, all right, you know what? He can't be with the team. It's going to be, think about it. It's kind of embarrassing. It's tough, man, for him to be on the sideline. I think Mark Davis and Mike McDaniels, Dave Z, everybody, they probably made a mutual decision as far as him not playing on the football field or not being on the sideline. That being said, retirement, I don't think Carr is going to retire. He's a competitor at the end of the day. He plays a very competitive sport. You don't think that, like, hey, man, like, they don't believe in me? They bench me? You serious? And then he's gonna go to a team that believes in him from ownership and down. And then we're gonna see, to me, in my opinion, I think we're gonna see a different Derek Carr. We're gonna see a better Derek Carr. Because this year he didn't have a good year. Let's be real. He didn't have a good year in a year where he had to have a good year in order for him to stay, and he didn't. And the Raiders, the rest is history. He's not with the Raiders no more, and most likely they're going to trade him or cut him at this point. But what are your thoughts, man?
I just think as soon as they sat him down and told Derek Carr that they were going to go in a new direction, I think DC asked the question, are you looking to bring me back next year? And I think once that answer was, we're probably looking to move on or to look at other options, I think he was like, hey, all right, well, I appreciate it. I'm going to take my bags. I'm going to pack up and I'm going to get out of here. So it's a business. It's a relationship. Again, at the same time, I feel like this was the right time. I think it's been, you can kind of sense it for a while now. I feel like it's been time to move on and get a fresh start at the quarterback position.
Snoop Scope says Raiders made a big mistake and think y'all coach isn't good at. Come on, bro. Gonna have to rewrite that one, man. It's hard, man. But I think you're trying to say is that we made a big mistake and our coach is not good at coaching it, man. Hey, man, like I got my doubts about McDaniels, man. I think that maybe he might be one of a great coordinator, but he's masquerading as a head coach, which he's not really that good at that position. But who knows, man? Hey, at the end of the day, he's going to get another year.
He's going to get another year, and let's see what he does these last final 2 weeks. Especially, look, if he goes out here and beats the Niners with a Jarrett Stidham, that's going to say a lot. Like, we held the bar so high for DC that maybe DC truly is an average QB to maybe even below average this season.
Jeff Hinder says Devontae is getting screwed. Nah, man, he's getting paid $30 million a year.
He's in a good situation and tax free,
man. He's good, man. Like Carr did not die. Devontae is not dealing with any type of, hey, at the end of the day, like it's just sports, just football. But I get it. He's probably frustrated that his guy, the guy that he thought was going to be the quarterback, the reason why he came to the Raiders was because of Carr. He's not going to be out there. So that's going to be interesting to see though during the offseason. You think, depending on who they bring in and where the Raiders are going to be heading to next year, are they going to rebuild? I don't think Devontae wants to stay for a rebuild. But if they are looking to, revamp, upgrade, and try to win next year, then maybe Devontae will stay. I mean, he's under contract.
Yeah, it's going to be that one's going to be a touchy subject. I think maybe you would have had a little bit more success had you handled it better. Like I said, I really wanted a public appearance from Mark Davis. If he was the one to make that decision, host a press conference, even if it was 10 minutes, acknowledge Raider Nation, say, hey, Raider Nation, this one was on me. I moved on from Derek Carr. This wasn't a Josh McDaniels and a Dave Ziegler decision. This was me collectively coming to them and saying, as the owner, I want to go in a new direction. Thank you, Derek Carr. Thank you to the Carr family, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I think Mark Davis needs to be more accountable, and I'm curious to see. Look, now that you don't have DC, what is the decision? Because now you're kind of walking on eggshells here a little bit. Because if you don't go out there and get a veteran that can go out there and games, you're looking at another rebuild out in Vegas. You haven't, I think we've gone 500. We haven't had a losing season in Vegas yet. This is going to be the first one. But to be honest with you, like, this is a money pit. So Mark Davis needs to figure out a solution and have a vision for what it is he's wanting to do.
Oh, man, but Snoop Scope says, I'm a Niners. Oh, you're a Niners fan. Oh, man, I got to do this just because you're a Niners fan. I'm messing with you, man. Hopefully we're going to hear that at the end of the game after we beat y'all. But he says, I'm a Niners fan, and Mark Davis should be gone, and he gets a new owner. Man, hey, man, I'm looking at Mark Davis kind of funny right now. It's been 10 years at least, him as an owner, and it's been dysfunction after. Like, it's been crazy. And you can make an argument like, hey, whatever that was happening with the Raiders happened before Mark Davis got there as well. With the late great Al Davis, he had his issues in his later years. He was trying to win. He put him in a bad situation. So I thought, okay, Mark Davis is going to come and at least put people in positions where they can do their job and not be that owner. But it doesn't seem like he's that guy. Like he's kind of putting his fingerprints on everything, every little thing. And I think that's not a good sign, especially for a guy that admitted that he doesn't really know too much about football.
Yeah, and I seen Raid had left a comment earlier in the chat, and he was saying, do you think like Mark Davis is stepping in and having his hands more involved in decisions because he wasn't doing that in times past? And to be honest with you, I kind of hope not. Like, I hope that's not the direction that Mark Davis is going in. Like, when you publicly come out and you say that, hey, I got guys around me who know football and can make those type of decisions, I hope a guy like Mark Davis isn't stepping in to make personnel decisions. And again, you made a good point. It is his team. He's the owner of the team. He could do necessarily pretty much whatever he wants. However, if you're trying to go out here and compete for championships, yeah, don't step in and try to make roster decisions, and don't do it impulsively like you did with the DC situation. Now, I can go hard against Mark Davis, but let me get my point clear about the Derek Carr situation. I do think that it was time to set Derek Carr. I do think it was time to move forward in a new direction. That part, I'm not mad about that, honestly. Like, I'm excited for what the future holds for the Raiders organization. I'm curious to see, like, say what you want about this coaching staff. It's the coaching staff that we have, and we all know that every single one of us are going to tune in to watch the Raiders play. You know, unfortunately, that's where we have bought a product. We've drank the Kool-Aid every single offseason. But at the same point, like, I'm excited to see what a young, confident player can come into this offense and see what he can do. I think Derek Carr has been gun shy at times. I think in the pocket, his footwork isn't that great. I think he locks down on one receiver too many times. He struggles in the red zone, and you can say, oh, is that play calling? I would say I would lean more towards it's a Derek Carr issue of locking onto more than one receiver. If anybody pressures him and gets their hand on him, he typically goes down easily. I just don't think defenses fear Derek Carr like they used to in times past. And the one thing that Derek Carr was excelled at was accuracy, timing, and all those things in his game has regressed this season, and it's pretty evident. So the things that Derek Carr was really good at, he no longer looks elite at those parts of his game. And once those start to deteriorate and go, I mean, you ultimately have to make the decision to move on. And I'm kind of excited to see what can happen.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I don't disagree with you. Carr, at the end of the day, he had an opportunity to play well this season, and it would have extended his Raiders career, but he didn't. And that's. But I will say this. I didn't like how the Raiders handled it.
No.
I'll say that. You know what I mean? I understand, like, all right, Derek Carr, he's, you know, he didn't play well. He got benched. He's not going to be the Raiders QB. But I felt like they should have handled it better. Like, come on, man. Like, it's classless. Like, just come on. A guy that's been the quarterback for like 10 years, been hella respectful. You never heard anything from Derek Carr talking bad about the organization. Like, it's just like, oh my God. Just another misstep by the Raiders, led by Mark Davis. I mean, if you remember when Jack DeLeo got fired?
Oh, God.
He fired him, and then he told him to go and announce
stand up there and
that you got fired.
That's what I'm saying. He just doesn't stand down on his decisions, and he makes everybody else do it for him.
Oh,
DC
how do you get fired? How do you get fired? And then someone says, "Okay, you're fired. Now tell everybody that you got fired."
Yeah, exactly. Now, do you agree though that you would have liked to see Mark Davis come out and maybe at least own it and just say, "Hey, look, this is my decision to move on from Derek Carr," and at least acknowledge his fan base. You know, us who have supported Derek Carr for almost a decade now, and honestly, he's been through all the trials and tribulations with us as a fan base. You know, the move from Oakland to Vegas, the ups and the downs. I remember when we got Derek Carr our rookie year, it just felt different. It felt like, man, we might actually have something in this kid. And man, he took over in those 2016 years, and the Amari Cooper, the Crabtree years, and then John Gruden, and everything looked like the arrow was pointing up for the Raiders organization. Then tragedy struck, and Henry Ruggs has his incident, Damon Arnett, all the missed first-round draft picks, John Gruden hit job. He's been through absolutely everything with us. And to me, Mark Davis owes it to the Carr family to publicly acknowledge the decision to move on.
Yeah, man. And we got 100 in the building. Make sure to hit that hit that like button for me, please. Hey, man, that algorithm is very real. So like what I mean by that is that if you guys like the video, we can keep coming back with this content. So We love talking about the Raiders. We love talking football. We know we got a mix of Raider fans. I think today we got Niner fans. We got a lot of different people, man, from all over. So we appreciate your support. Just make sure to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure to subscribe. And then also my guy, right, my co-host, Raider Ray, he has a channel, Raider Ray. So make sure to go to his channel and hit that subscribe button. We go live weekly. We switch off on each channel. So if you don't want to miss our live, make sure to subscribe to both our channels. And also hit that notification bell. I'm telling you, the notification bell is a lifesaver. If you hit it, you'll always get that reminder saying, hey, we're going live. We got this coming for you. Any type of announcement, you will know from us. But back to the show, man. I appreciate everybody supporting. But Raider Tape says maybe Mark wants to be more hands-on moving forward because he never was before. Come on, Ray. You know that doesn't work. You know that doesn't work. Come on, bro. You know that doesn't work, man.
Not with the owner like Mark.
Are like when owners are trying to take too much control, it doesn't work. You need to have structure. You need all the great teams. They got the owner, they got the president, they got the GM, they got the coaches. Like everybody, there's a hierarchy. It just come on, man. You know that too, bro. Come on, man. But you know, I'm just messing with Raider Tape, man. He's my guy. But you know, come on, bro. You know, Mark, that's not gonna work. It's never worked. Anytime you've seen any type of owner try to think that he could do whatever with a team, I mean, it's his team, but come on, man. Like, look at the best teams. Don't look at the teams that like have, you know, those owners that really kind of put their hands on whatever. You know what I mean? They try to make decisions for the team, football decisions, basketball, whatever sport, you name it. It just doesn't work, in my opinion. But what are your thoughts on that?
Historically, look in the recent Raiders history when that happened. I mean, look at those, and rest in peace, Dal Davis. But towards the end of his life, when that ownership has a big control over the organization, and that's coming from a guy who is a football-minded guy. Let's not give Mark Davis the decision to go out here and make personnel decisions, because we will be picking in the top 5 each and every year if that is the case.
Raid says we were doing great last year. I doubt Mark thought Ruggs and Gruden scenario would happen. That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that might have changed everything, because at the end of the day, like who nixed the deal for Tom Brady to come here? It wasn't Mark Davis. Mark Davis wanted Tom Brady to come here. It was John Gruden.
Yep.
John Gruden ultimately decided that he wanted to stick with Carr over Tom Brady, because the biggest factor, not because Derek Carr was better than Tom Brady, it was more so to do with his age. He probably didn't want to deal with it. Hey, to be honest with you, keep real with you, I think John Gruden likes control.
He does, but I also think that we need a head coach that is an alpha. John Gruden is an alpha head coach. 100%. And I think when you have an owner like Mark Davis, you need a head coach that's willing to step in and say, hey, Mark, because you alluded to it earlier that John Gruden was the one to put an end to all those after the game meetings with Mark Davis. And he's like, hey, look, if you're going to bring me in here and you're going to trust me with this organization, then trust me to run this organization. You don't have to meet with me after every single game. Like, let me take over. Let me do what I need to do to get this moving in the right direction. And I think that's what the Raiders need in the head coaching position. They need somebody to hold Mark accountable and say, hey, Mark, step aside and let me do my job.
Yeah, and I agree too, because it almost happened. I mean, if you think about it, last offseason, we heard the rumors about Jim Harbaugh coming in, because Jim Harbaugh, if he came to the Raiders, he would have.
Oh, 100%.
The reason, and we got some Niner fans in the chat too as well. If correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the reasons why Jim Harbaugh left the Niners was because he bumped heads with ownership. You know what I mean? Jim was not afraid to let anybody know. It didn't matter who you were. So I just think that maybe that might have been one of the reasons why. Obviously, I think he probably was like, you know what? I had a John Gruden. Maybe Jim Harbaugh won't be the guy because Jim wants to come to the NFL. He probably wants more control, and he probably did that with John Gruden or whatever. But what are your thoughts on that, man? Like, do you feel like you think that we're ready for another head coach right now?
I mean, obviously, if the reports are true that Mark is sticking with Josh McDaniels, I think Josh McDaniels is your guy. Remember when we talked about this? Chat, Raider Nation. Me and Pharaoh talked about this when the Raiders were 2-7 and we publicly came out with the live show specifically saying that there needs to be some changes moving on in this organization. We talked about Josh McDaniels. We talked about Derek Carr. And this was, week 9 into the NFL season.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that since you moved on from Derek Carr and you're keeping Josh McDaniels, ultimately, I do believe McDaniels is going to be gone within 2 to 3 years. I could be really wrong on that. Josh could go out there and really coach his tail off and get us in a position to go out there and win playoff games and maybe even compete for a championship. All that is to be seen for the Raiders' future. But personally, I really think that without moving on from Josh McDaniels, you've kind of set this organization back 2 to 3 years. And if you go out here and you start drafting draft picks and Josh McDaniels ultimately gets fired, this whole organization just took 5 steps backwards. So it's going to be hard. I don't know if Josh McDaniels is the guy. I would say based off of what we've seen this season, you could definitely make the argument that he's not the guy. But I also do see a lot of games that were very winnable for the Raiders. A ton of one-score games, a ton of games that the Raiders were up by double digits before halftime. So this season could have gone remarkably different, and we could be having a completely different conversation. Derek Carr and Devontae Adams was probably the connection of the entire offseason. Josh McDaniels, potentially coach of the year, coming in a double-digit win, and Raiders making the playoffs and all this stuff. But this is football, and it swings left and it swings right really quickly.
Okay. Informer Mod says it was Harbor versus Bulky, but Bulky was the owner's guy. I got you. Yeah, I heard about that too. They were beefing too. Okay. So you're saying that it was more so his friction or his problem with Trent Bulky, the former GM of the 49ers. I think, is he the GM for Jaguars still? I don't know if he's the GM for the Jaguars still. I'm not sure if he's. But either way, yeah, man, like that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of why a guy like Harbaugh, he's a strong personality. So a guy like, let's say if a guy like Mark Davis ran into him, maybe it might have been that might be a perfect mix. Because obviously, I don't want to say it like this, but John Gruden probably put Davis in check. Let's be honest here. Like he didn't talk to John Gruden after every game like he's doing with McDaniels. I'm just saying. And OT6 has an announcement to let y'all know the 49ers suck. Raiders. just had to let y'all know, man.
I love it.
Just to let y'all know where y'all at, man. This is a Raiders channel, y'all. But we welcome everybody from all different fan bases, man. We appreciate y'all coming through. But Jesus Hernandez says, this seems like an infiltration by the NFL. They're putting people in place, moving people. They might even be removing Mark Davis as an owner and take over the Raiders franchise. Raiders are a cash cow. Man, hey, that's another thing too, because I'm not sure if the NFL is a huge fan of Mark Davis. He's always kind of looked at as the kind of like that oddball, like aloof.
Oh gosh,
he's
a nerd.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that, but he is.
But hey, man, he's a nerd, but he's a billionaire too.
He's a rich nerd. He's a very rich nerd.
For real. Curtis in the building, he says, why is nobody talking about Patrick Graham and his BS defensive schemes? Happy New Year's, Raider Nation family. Hey, Happy New Year to you, Curtis, man. I appreciate you coming through. Well, maybe because our expectations of the Raiders defense wasn't really that high, and we knew that we didn't really invest too much with players and drafts coming into this season. So maybe that's why, like, we're not on Patrick Graham like that. I think the biggest disappointment has been the offense. To me, in my eyes, I think the coaching staff too, to a certain extent, specifically Josh McDaniels. I thought he was going to be better. I thought he learned from his Denver days, but it just seems like he's kind of like, he's just a guy. Like he's not. I don't know, man. Maybe he needs to get another quarterback. Maybe that's his. That's if you heard him on Monday, he pointed the finger at Derek Carr, and the rest is history. Derek Carr is gone, so he's going to get his guy, whoever that is. Whether it's Tom Brady, whether it's Mac Jones, I know Mac Jones is under contract, but he might trade for him. It could be a lot of different players. Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy G. And I'm not a big Jimmy G guy. I know there's some Niner fans in here. man, I always looked at Jimmy G as like a backup quarterback. To be honest with you, like he has everything. He has everything that you need to win. He has a defense. He has O-line, all like everything. Great tight end, great receiver. Great offensive minded coach, and he couldn't get it done there. So like to me, Jimmy G is he's gonna be keeping that spot warm for whoever the Raiders draft.
And you know what? As much as we want to come after the coaching staff, I do think that they have excelled in a few areas. Like I think that there are parts of this team that look better than previous regimes. I think our ability to run the football has improved drastically. I think our ability to do more with less talent has been pretty evident on the offensive line. Defensive side of the football, Patrick Graham over the last 5 or 6 weeks have been averaging 18 points a game. That's phenomenal. According to number 1 ranked defense is averaging
good,
15.
man.
Yeah, that's 15 points a game.
But I will say this: and maybe you could, and I'm gonna let you go talk about it. My bad. I don't want.
No, you're good. You're good.
But I will say this: that the issue with the Raiders defense, they'll play well at times, but they can't finish, and that's probably talent.
Right, and let's be honest. In these last couple games here recently, the offense didn't help them out at all. Like the defense was on the field for a lot of time. Defense or offensively, 3 and outs, turnovers, you name it. It was putting the defense, who, let's be honest, doesn't have a lot of star power. And for over the course of the season, these last 5 to 6 weeks, I think Patrick Graham has actually done an okay job. They've done an okay job at stopping the run. You've got a Sam Webb, a Meek Robertson, a beat-up Nate Hobbs, a Tyler Hall. You have to get rid of Jonathan Abram. You have a Trayvon Merrick and an aging veteran, Deron Harmon. Not to mention you have linebackers that can't catch a cold. So, I mean, your interior defensive line, they didn't start emerging until later in the year. So there's been a lot of moving parts. This defense is by far a finished product. So over the beginning of the year, yes, the defense was pretty atrocious. But as it's gone on, I think they've kind of found out an identity a little bit. And I don't think Patrick Graham has done terrible. I'd like to see Patrick Graham have an off season where they just load that defense up with a ton of talent and be able to see what he can do from there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%, man. I think he needs more talent. I think he deserves that. You can't just have him just work with like backup corners, backup linebackers, backup. The detail, like it's just so many holes on that defense side that could add talent. It's just like, man, like
you can't hold him to the same accountability as a Josh McDaniels.
Exactly. And Snoop Scope says Niners had a Vic Fangio and Jim Harbaugh. You know what I like about Jim Harbaugh? I like that he was that dominant head coach, but he let his assistants be assistants. He let his offensive coordinator be offensive coordinator. He let his defense coordinator be a defensive coordinator. When I say that, I mean Josh McDaniels is out here trying to be the head coach, but also be the play caller and the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
And this year, we can say offensively, we've been a disappointment. And maybe going into the offseason, maybe he needs to make a little adjustment, maybe put a little more trust with Mick Lombardi. Maybe he doesn't trust him enough to give up some responsibilities, because I feel like this year he didn't put it all together. Maybe and a lot of people were like, well, Derek Carr didn't have a good year. That's the reason why. But there are moments where Josh McDaniels had some questionable play calls as well, like questionable moves as well. So it's not all on just the players. You got to look at the coaching staff, especially if we lost a record 4 games, double-digit halftime leads. We're up big, and we end up losing. Never been done before. You got to look at coaching.
I seen an article at the beginning of the season when there was a question that was asked to Josh McDaniels about play calling duties, and obviously he said that, yeah, I'm going to be calling the plays, but he did say something pretty interesting, and he said that I only want to be calling plays for 2 to 3 more years before I pass those duties down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting, because you make a good point, because I believe personally those are the best well-ran organization, is when a head coach becomes the leader of the locker room and you have good assistants and you trust those assistants to go out there and call good plays. You trust your defensive coordinator. You trust your offensive play caller. And when you get these head coaches, the John Grudens of the world, that not only are they the head coach, but they are the ultimate authority voice on whichever side of the football. That's where problems tend to arise pretty quickly when things do go south. So me personally, I would like to see Lombardi call plays. Maybe he might get that responsibility. I don't know, but we'll see.
No, I'm with you because early on we're kind of questioning a little bit, like, what is he thinking here? What is he doing?
Yeah.
Why like that Cardinals game? To this day, I'm thinking about that Cardinals, like we're up 20-0, and he didn't think to use Josh Jacobs at any point. That's just me. But Darren, man, I don't know why when he says Niner fan here, appreciate you coming through, man. But we don't like Niners. But anyways, but he said you could have Jimmy G, and I can picture your laugh like this, bro. Oh man, Jimmy G is trash.
Oh,
he's so bad. I mean, he's a good backup QB, but I don't know, man. Maybe he might be good with Josh McDaniels. Who knows? Maybe Debo Samuels and Kyle Shanahan. You know how he coached up MVPs with Matt Ryan. Maybe that was a little bit too much for him. What's the left tackle in San Francisco? That dude's a monster.
Trent Williams.
Whew, that dude's a monster.
Yeah,
maybe that's a little too much talent. It would look too much talent.
Yeah. No, Kyle Shanahan's a coach, man. I like what he's got going on. As much as I hate San Francisco 49ers,
Yeah.
I like X's and O's. And what Kyle Shanahan brings to the board when it comes to X's and O's and putting guys in position to succeed. And look what he's doing with Brock Purdy. I know it's Niners and everybody wants me to get on here and roast the Niners. But for having a third string quarterback, I think this just goes to show you in the right scheme, the right system, a really, really good defense. Hey, you can get it done. You can get it done with it.
And I also think, and I'm crazy. I'm over here complimenting the 49ers, and I also think, man, they're tight end. I think he potentially, if he could just stay healthy, he could easily be the best tight end in the league.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Well,
Kelsey,
I don't know.
I know Kelsey has that title because he's been consistent. He's been healthy, and the production is there. But when you watch, oh my God, when you watch any Niner games, you watch that tight end play, bro. That dude is a monster.
He is a monster. Him and Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey is just his ability to be consistent, just year after year. It's impressive. That's why the whole conversation when we were talking about Kittle, Waller, Kelsey. Yeah, I don't think that conversation's really that close anymore at all. I think Kelsey's kind of ran away with that title.
Oh yeah. No, I think Kelsey's, but I'm telling you right now, I think George Kittle would be the closest to me, like to take that.
Yeah.
To take
he's definitely two. Yeah, he's definitely
he can take that. But you know who I'll never ever mention in the same breath of George Kittle or Kelsey is
Foster Moreau.
I'm just kidding. Darren Waller.
Yeah,
Darren Waller, bro. Like, it's just, I thought he could be. I thought he had a chance. You know what I mean?
Don't quit on him just yet. I think in his return, in the snaps, and in his ability to play over these last few weeks, I think he has shown up here and there, and I think it's been good for the Raiders' offense. So let's see. Let's see after the Niners game.
Kelsey's a way better receiver than Waller. Way better receiver. And then Kittle, he has him on both blocking and receiving. Like Kittle, I'm telling you.
I'm not comparing him to 1 and 2.
Kittle just needs a full, complete season. He's the best tight end.
Yeah.
Hands down.
100%.
He might be that. I'm not going to lie.
Oh,
when I
wait.
watch him play, he's just
You do think he's better than Kelsey?
Bro, his blocking is better than some O linemen. Oh my God! Did you see that block he had on Von Miller?
No, I didn't.
That clip, like, man,
I got to be honest with you. I don't watch too much 49er clips. I don't.
I'm just a fan of the NFL, man. I watch a lot of people on different teams, but obviously I'm a Raider fan first and foremost.
LV says I think Waller is glad that Carr is gone. Do you think that? To be honest with you, man, I thought that this locker room was going to be a lot more. I just thought you were going to be able to tell a little bit more. Like, either these guys are really locked in for these last 2 weeks, and like this coaching staff has them like every single week prepared on the small details and worried about their own job, or is there a mixture in the locker room that's been ready to maybe get a new start at the quarterback position?
Hey, man, shots fired, man. Debo says apparently Niners don't have any content show since they are all here. Oh man, hey, we appreciate y'all coming through, man. Hey, I'm not no hater. If y'all want to come through, chop it up, it's all good. But damn, Debo, you coming for him right now, man. That's cold, man. But hey, the thing about Waller, I don't think Waller had an issue with Carr. But I hear what you're saying. You're saying that like you would think that the players, hey, at the end of the day, they got to get paid too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business.
And if they're desperately wanting to win that much, I'm sure a lot of them, specifically how this season has gone, I think they're asking the question like, okay, what is it? And I think every time you turn on the film, and let's be honest, it's not all DC's fault by any means, but the games where DC was bad, DC was really bad, specifically with inaccuracy and turnovers and red zone efficiency. And those players see that. Like don't make no mistake about it. Those players see that on film when they go into work on Monday. So maybe some of these guys year after year that have been with the Raiders for a minute, like maybe they're like, hey, like I'm kind of ready for a new start because I want to win football games and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win football games.
We'll see. These last two games are going to be interesting. This offseason is going to be interesting, man. Because the Raiders, they can go a lot of different ways. It can easily be a rebuild. I know y'all don't want to hear that. It could easily be a rebuild, but at the same time, you know, Tom Brady rumors are going to be crazy, and it just makes sense for him to come. I personally don't want it just because, you know, as a Raider fan, I don't like it, but also I do not want to see an old Tom Brady. He is 46, 47 years old. Like he's approaching, he's already in an uncharted territory. So at any moment, Father Time could be like, you know what? It's time. Oh, you're in a Raider uniform? Cool. Even better. I don't even want that to happen. I don't want to see. But if he plays well, it's cool. It's all
would you still be mad if he took the Raiders to the playoffs, though?
If you say that again?
Like, would you be mad? Like, say the Raiders do that. And I'm telling you, Raider Nation, prepare for it because I guarantee you it's going to happen. I'm predicting, you know, Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski are going to be in Vegas. With that being said, if the Raiders make the playoffs with Tom Brady at the quarterback position, is there still going to be this animosity towards him in the silver and black if he goes out there and wins games and potentially makes a run for it?
Man, Raider Room has a hot take right now, and if y'all haven't subscribed or follow him on IG, he has one of the best Raider IGs. He got Raider news, anything Raider related content. Make sure to follow him on IG. But he has a hot take here. Raider Room. He says Jacobs has the best rushing performance against the Niners this season. No, he corrects it. He says not his best, but the best than the Niners have allowed. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Hey, I ain't mad at that. And I think they should be ready for that. I think that he's going to be angry. I think if you know he wants to get paid by the Raiders. He wants to get a contract at the end of the day, and we'll see if the Raiders are going to give it to him. I mean, at this point, if Derek Carr ain't coming back, they got a whole lot of money to play with, man. But
please go to Casper TB12 Dashian and just please look at his image. It's already started.
Oh man,
it's already started.
TB12 Dashian, what? I'm excited a change can bring a positive spark for both sides. Love Carr or not, Raiders and Carr never got it done together. Best for both sides to move on. Hey, I'm not mad at that. Hey, Casper. Hey, I'm not mad at that. At the end of the day, like it's. Hey, my thing is, I want the Raiders to draft somebody in the first 2 rounds. It's hard. It's hard.
You can do that and still have Tom Brady. You could do that and still have Tom Brady.
Exactly. And still go and still have because you got money to play with because Carr's contract is gonna come off the books. I'm assuming Tom Brady's contract is not gonna be 40 mil. It's probably gonna be half that, maybe less.
Yeah.
If he wants to win. Because
they're gonna 40-some years old. Nobody's gonna be paying $40 million for Tom Brady.
Exactly. Hey, Truth Seeker says he says Tom Brady is washed. So that's what hey man, I don't want, and that's what I don't want. I don't want Tom Brady, but then also I don't want to wash Tom Brady. That's even, man. If not DC, we need Aaron Rodgers. Hey man, I if we can get, but think about it. If we trade for Aaron Rodgers, what would that even take, man? His contract is crazy, and on top of that, like, what are we going to be giving up to get Aaron Rodgers? It's like it's kind of a lose-lose type of situation. It's like we're back to square one. We're not that talented of a team to just go trade away our draft picks like that for one player.
Casper says that Brady played for $15 million this year.
15 mil. Hey, 10 mil.
10.
Hey, Brady. Hey, you're gonna be in Vegas. Everything's gonna be taken care of. Hey, and the 10 mil is gonna be straight 10 mil because that 15. Oh, he plays.
Oh, yeah.
He plays in
Florida.
In Florida, so he's getting that full 15 mil. But 10 mil. You're 46, bro. Hey, Jeff Hinder says they were going to give Brady 60 mil for 2 years. Who?
The Raiders were. That was the deal that was in place in 2020.
Interesting.
But at that time, I mean, think about it. He went on to win Super Bowls and throw for 40 touchdowns, like back-to-back seasons. Like, I would have paid Tom Brady $60 million for 2 years, $30 million a year. Like, that's essentially what you paid DC.
Informal Mind says, honestly, I think you guys are going to trade Carr for Mac Jones. See, the thing is, Informer, he has to co-sign that. Carr has to. The whole thing with the no trade clause, it gives Carr an ability to choose where he wants to go. So if the Raiders were like, hey, we're going to trade you to the Patriots for Mac Jones, Carr could easily be like, no, and that's it. That's where it stops. So I'm sure they can hopefully they can work something out. But would you think Derek Carr wants to go to a Patriots team that, like he doesn't really play that well in the cold? And
well, okay, let's talk about it for a second. Who do you think DC goes to? And I seen a question. Hold on, before we get to that.
Okay.
Anthony Ruiz says, is this a pro Carr channel? No, this is a neutral channel. This is a Las Vegas Raiders channel. So we look at this objectively. We are not just like a bunch of people who are going to say Carr is perfect and he's a great quarterback and this and that. No, we're going to criticize him where his game has flaws, and we're going to keep it honest with you. So no, this is not a pro Carr.
And I'll also add to that by saying, and we rooted for him when he was with the Raiders. All the way to the end, we rooted for him, because his success is the Raiders' success, and at the end of the day, it's good for us. It's good for fans. We didn't really hate on him. At the end of the day, we kept it real. Like, hey, keeping it real is basically saying, hey, Derek Carr did not play well in a year where he had to play well in order for him to continue his Raider career. Just look at his contract. His contract was set up to where it was almost like a 1-year deal, and he knew it. He knew it when he sat on the dotted line, but he betted on himself. It didn't work. He had his teammate his best friend Devontae Adams, with Darren Waller and Renfro, and it's unfortunate that they were hurt for a lot of those games, especially during the early portion of that the season. But it is what it is, man. It's not fair, but he's been here for 10 years. I think Derek Carr will benefit from a fresh start with a new organization. He's a solid good QB. He just needs to go to an organization. Maybe a lot of people are throwing, because I know you before you went to that comment, you were saying, like, where would he go?
Yeah.
A lot of people are pointing to the Jets as a destination because they're set up to win. Defense, offense, they kind of have some pieces there. And then some people were questioning, like, Derek Carr in that New York media. But look, Derek Carr is the same quarterback that actually had success in the craziest Raiders season you could think of as far as off-field distractions, with John Gruden getting fired. Then obviously the Henry Ruggs situation, we all know what that was about. And with injuries to everything that you could think of, and he was able to weather the storm. So, being a quarterback in New York media, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue for him. I think that they have some pieces. It makes sense. Also, I'll throw another. You want to just go with you want to put another team, because I have another team in my mind too.
Yeah, I got a handful. Pretty much, I want to take a look at the AFC South. I think the Indianapolis Colts could use a guy like him, and honestly, a team like the Texans. I know that they're not a very good team right now, but DC has family in the Houston area. He has family ties with the organization. He has really good relationship with the owners because of his brother playing for the Houston Texans. It wouldn't really surprise me, not to mention they have 2 first-round picks in this year's draft. One of them they got from Cleveland for the Deshaun Watson trade, and I believe that's around the 11th pick, somewhere in that range. So if the Texans really wanted to, they can go out there and still have that number 1 overall draft pick. And maybe if they wanted a Derek Carr, they wanted a veteran to plug in and a rookie play behind him, or whatever they want to go, whatever direction they want to go. DC over there in the AFC South, because I don't think it's a very competitive division. You have Ryan Tannehill, Matt Ryan, Davis Mills. I mean, the quarterback competition isn't that great. And I think if you plug DC into that division, I think that he has a real opportunity to make the playoffs.
I just don't see Houston being. See, look. If I'm Derek Carr, you got to be real smart. This is his last hurrah. This is the last time where he's going to get this type of opportunity where teams are going to be wanting his services. He can pick his situation. I don't believe in Houston's ownership. Like, they got their own issues too as well. Lovie Smith, solid coach. I like him. And obviously I like their running back as well. But I don't think the Texans would be a good situation. It'll be good for us because we get to get that pick, yeah. But for him, if you were going to choose it, I'm not sure if he would choose that situation. If anything, I heard Miami might be a possibility because Tua's dealing with concussion after concussion. Like, they might want some insurance. They might want to go in a different direction because maybe those concussions might be a little bit more serious than what people are. Man, didn't he have like his third, fourth concussion this season? I don't know. He something crazy like that, man.
Yeah, he had multiple concussions, and also a team like Seattle. I could see DC going to a team like Seattle. Play with a Pete Carroll. That's a good system fit for him, I think. I honestly, the more you think about it, I think that there's quite a few teams that could use him. I seen Chris Johnson tweeted that Derek Carr needs to be a Tennessee Titan. So, I mean, a lot of teams in that AFC South is really begging for the services of DC.
Whoo, Raider room. That would be crazy, too. With all that speed on offense. Oh, my.
Oh, I could see that for sure.
Oh, and Mike McDaniel, you could tell, like, he's an innovative, like, offensive mind. Like, he would figure out a way to use Lamar. With all that speed. Oh, man. Yeah, that'd be fun to watch. That would be fun. I mean, I wish he would be Raider, but
hey, I like what Miami's got going on. I really do.
Yeah, we got the wrong. It looks like we got the wrong McDaniel.
Yeah, we got the wrong McDaniels.
But yeah, man. Hey, man, we've gone on for longer than what we expected, man. This is supposed to be a short show, you know what I mean? Especially because it's the new year, man. It's the last day of 2022. Man, if y'all haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Hit that like button. My guy Raider Ray has a channel as well. Make sure to go hit up his channel. I got some applications for some mods. Man, I need y'all to help me out here because the chat was going crazy. So if y'all can hit me on IG, Pharaoh NFL, like you see it on the screen, PHAROAH NFL. Go hit me up on IG if you want to become a mod. We'll give you the details, man. Hey, we need all the help that we can get. But yeah, man. Hey, tomorrow is gonna be a big game in 2023, man. It's next year. It's tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So, do you have any last thoughts about the Niner game? Like anything that you?
Hey, Raider Nation, it's a new time. It's a new era. I know, there's a ton of mixed opinions. Let's support what we've got going on. Let's go out there, try to win a football game. Let's support Jarrett Stidham, and let's be optimistic about the quarterback position moving forward. It's a fun time. There's going to be a lot of things to talk about. There's going to be a lot of hype leading up into the draft, into the off season. So let's not lose faith. Let's support this team, and let's go beat the 49ers tomorrow.
Facts, 100%, man. And hold on, let me hook you up real quick. Hey, man, we'll just end it on here, man. Hold on one second. Let's see. We'll just end it with this, man. Hey, Raider Ron says Happy New Year's, Raider Nation for life, man. I'll give you one of these, man. Appreciate everybody coming through. Hey, we appreciate the support. Hopefully at tomorrow at the end of the game, we're hearing this chant and we beat the Niners on the first day of a new year. A great way to start the new year. Raiders win. Man, we appreciate everybody coming through, man. We appreciate the support. You have any last thoughts, man, before I call it a show?
Yeah, you know how we always end it, man. We got to end it with the great the late and great Al Davis.
The late great Al Davis.
The late great Al Davis.
All right, man. The late great Al Davis. I got you. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull it up. I'm not on cue, but who cares, man? But yeah, like I said, man, Happy New Year to everybody, man. We appreciate. Hey, be safe out here.
Yeah, you guys drive safe. Don't make any stupid decisions. Get an Uber or whatever they're called wherever you're from. You know, get home safe. Get home to your family, and we'll see you guys next year.
Just win, baby.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.